You're watching Tech Talk in affiliation with Tech for Techs. We're a community that supports independent trade with the help of vendors and distributors. We're live every Thursday at 8 p.m. London time, and we'll be streaming to Facebook and YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Google, TuneIn, and many more. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, and your host, Philip Griffiths.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tech for Tech's Tech Talk. This is a live show where we discuss different ways to make your business grow. My name is Phil Griffiths, and I'm your host for today. Today, we're joined by Peter, Tim, Ben, and Jenny. If you are viewing, well, let us know where you're viewing from. Let us know if you can hear us and see us, obviously, so we know we're actually live and that we're not just talking to ourselves. Let me just move the chat windows around because they've all changed for some reason. I'll blame Ben. There we go. I don't know. That way around. There we go. If you are watching from the Tech for Tech's Facebook group, make sure you click the link I'm putting in the chat in a few seconds, what says chat.restream.io/Facebook. That will allow your name to be shown to everyone else on this show, and you won't be just called Facebook user. I'm just pasting that in just now for you. There we go. And hello to everyone who is watching. So we've got a Facebook user from Minnesota. Is that how you pronounce it, correct?
That is Minnesota.
Yes, there we go. And we've also got Kieran on there. And we've also got Richard Creedy. And we've also got a Facebook user. Again, if you're watching for the Tech for Tech Facebook group, make sure you click on that link I've put in the chat. So your name will be shown. Otherwise, you'll just be called Facebook user and we'll have no clue who you are. And hi, Marianne, how you doing? Right, okay, so let's go on to the introductions. So let's go to Peter first. If you want to introduce yourself, Peter, let everyone know who you are, what you do, and what your tip, story, advice of the day is.
Hi, I'm Peter from ScanStation Computers. We sell new equipment and PCs and do managed services for businesses on the South Coast. My tip this week is graphics cards. Been a bit of a problem quite a lot recently. RTX 2060s are now in stock and distribution. Not on allocation, they're there, you can buy them. The rest of the cards look like they're becoming more available as well. 30 series look like they're going to become more available. We're getting feedback that the light hash rate cards are going to improve the availability of things because the crypto miners do not want those cards. The demand's not there. So looking forward to actually being able to get some gaming PCs back to customers, over the summer and hopefully into the new year.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, it's one of those constant things we're mentioning every week at the moment is graphics cards, unfortunately. So, but yeah, let's move on to Ben next. So Ben, let everyone know who you are, what you do, and any tips and stories you got.
Thanks, Phil. I'm Ben Ashcroft. I run Bugs and Bytes Computing in sunny Lincoln, specialising in refurbished laptops, desktops, and gaming PCs. So my tip of the week is particularly good if you're into repairs and refurbishing equipment. Once in a while, have a day off or take a day out to do an office clear out. I did that today, and the amount of extra room that I found and the amount of stuff that I've dumped in the waste is quite... Well, it's several bags worth, let's just say. And you end up finding stuff that you maybe forgot you had. Perhaps units you couldn't get parts for back then that you can get parts for now. Yeah, I think the last time I had a clear out, I found about 3 i5 and i7 laptops scattered around in various bits. So
that's pretty good then. Right, next up we've got Tim, who is actually replacing 2 people, one who hasn't shown and one person who had to drop out at the last minute. So we've got Tim on instead. So Tim, if you want to introduce yourself to everyone, let them know who you are, what you do, and what your tip and story of the day is today.
Hi, thanks, Phil. Yeah, my name's Tim. I said I'm from TCAM PM and IC Solutions. I'm based in North Yorkshire, despite the accent, which always throws people. Yeah, my tip, I think I would say the biggest tip I would say is that never underestimate the value of a virtual PC, particularly if you've got to get some old software to work on an old rig. Prime reason why I say that, this week I've had a customer's machine in. They need something to work off XP, and it had been heavily customised by someone previously. So yeah, only fix. It wasn't hardware fault. It had just been had a custom BIOS on it with password and everything else. And as usual, no one knows a password for it. So yeah, virtual PC. If there's any problems with it, that fixed the problem. So yeah, that's the biggest tip I would say in that situation.
Okay, that's pretty good. Let's just go quickly through chat, see who's come on. So, hi Bruno, how you doing? And we've also got Alex Smith from Malware Bytes as well. We've got Peter Campbell as well, aka Facebook user. Yeah, you could be one of them, but if there's 5 of you who haven't clicked that link, then you're all going to be called Facebook user, and then it'll get confusing. And we got Cormac as well in chat. Oh dear. Right, we're not letting Cormac on the show tonight because, well, we want to understand what everyone's saying. So let's hope he doesn't try and gate crash the place or anything like that. And hi, Kunal as well. And Alex says he's tuning in because he just Windows 11 mentioned. Well, don't blame you. There's a lot of people to talk about that and quite a few different views. And we've got Daniel Stride as well. Hi, Daniel. Right, let's go on to Jenny next. Jenny, if you want to basically introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are, and let us know if you've got any tips or stories for today. I think I know what you're going to be saying, but I'll let you go ahead anyway.
Hi, I'm Jenny at Tech for Techs. I am the owner. My story today is about an event that we will be hosting called Tech Max, and that will happen 1 year from today. That's the 24th of June, 2022. It will be held at Sheffield United Football Club Stadium, aka Bramall Lane in Sheffield. So you'll get a really nice venue there. We worked really, really hard to make sure that we got the best quality area for our attendees. We went through hell. We had a lot of good customer service, though. A lot of it just came down to not having enough room at most of the places. Most places were 250 people or so, and that would have been fine for someone getting married or something like that. But when geeks like to party, they like to do it in numbers. So I wanted to make sure we had enough room. So to reiterate, that's the 24th of June, 2022, Sheffield United's football stadium, Bramall Lane. See you there.
That's it. And we've also got up to roughly room for 50 vendors. So that's going to be quite big. And over 500 guests. There will be an evening meal as well for a limited number of people. We'll release more information as it comes. People who are attending, we can't say 100% yet because we've only got the exact dates and everything confirmed today. But we do have quite a few people interested in attending, as well as sponsoring the event and so forth. So hopefully someone will pay for the beer later on in the day as well. So that'll be a bonus. So, right, let's just run the little video we got for it. Only takes a few seconds, and then we'll go on to my tips. There you go. Tell you, very short video. I only had like half an hour to actually make that, so it had to be quick because we only signed the contract. Finally, was it about 5 o'clock? Was it? We actually got the final go-ahead, Jen.
Yeah. I signed the contract dead on 5 o'clock.
Yeah, there we go. Right, okay, so I suppose it's my tip stories at the moment. Let's see. Well, the first one was going to be about graphics cards, but unfortunately someone's already mentioned that already, so I'll let Peter off this time, though. But that's fine. Right, my screen's just disappearing, so that's always good. So, right, one of the things what a lot of people might have heard of is obviously John McAfee, or well known for obviously McAfee, has died in a Spanish jail or prison or whatever you want to call it. To figure out what happens, they're going to have a 30-day trial.
Oh, that's bad.
See how many people got that one. Right, okay.
That's bad.
Yes, well, that was a bad one.
I wish I had known that. I wouldn't have let you come on and said that. That's terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so I had to say it before it's all the memes are all over the internet. So, right, it's also that time of year manufacturers announce or release new products due to Computex, obviously in Taiwan. So it might be a good time to basically check with vendors or your distributors to see if they have any old stock, as in last generation stock, for you're purchasing, like the last generation of processors, motherboards, and so forth, before they bring out the new ones, because they're usually around about this time of year. They're usually coming out, usually in the next month or so. Also, we've got, obviously, we mentioned, obviously, the Bitcoin stuff as well. So, as Peter said, so graphics cards do seem to be dropping in price, and obviously Chinese miners and stuff are looking at other countries to move things over to. So, who knows? The prices may start going back up again once they actually move over to somewhere else, like, who knows, Korea or wherever they're going to choose. I'm not sure where the next place would be to choose for mining. But before we go any further, we've got to play this week's advert.
From high-speed networking to enterprise storage, at Ortual we have a solution for you. We're a UK-based vendor specialising in computer hardware components. So whether you're powering a data centre or upgrading a laptop, we can help. At Ortual, you'll get a dedicated account manager that gets to know you and your business, supporting you from our head office in Yorkshire. All our products are OEM compatible, tested in-house to ensure performance. And what's more, we offer a 5-year warranty across all our SSD range and lifetime on our memory. Want to find out more about our partner programme? Visit ortual.com.
Right, and thank you for Ortual for actually sponsoring the event tonight, or the show tonight, should I say. Without them, obviously, the show wouldn't be able to go on, and it helps put money towards our event, what we're holding next year as well. So, right, let's move on to the main topic. But first of all, I've just put a link in chat. You can see it there. It says chat.restream.io/FB. If your name is coming up when you're typing in the chat channel on the screen as a Facebook user, make sure you click that link and agree to it. Otherwise, you'll just be shown as Facebook user and we'll just not know who you are. So there we go. Can you get that video for your store display screens? I can't see why not. I'll ask the guys and double check with them just to make sure first. But message me after the show and I'll see if I can find it. Yeah. Right, okay, so the main topic is going to be Windows 11 as well as random question and answers. So if anyone's got any random question and answers or questions they want answering, send in your messages now on the chat. So whether it's business related, Windows related, or tools related, I don't know what you're having for your dinner, you can send that in as well. You might not get a very good response, but you can send that question in if you wish. You can even ask us about Cormac's chickens if you really want to. Right, but otherwise, we're going to talk about Windows 11 first. So feel free to, obviously, tell us your thoughts if you've seen the announcement video today. If not, I'm going to go around the room and basically ask everyone who's in the chat at the moment, or on the show, should I say, their views of the announcement. So let's go, I think, to Peter first today.
Thanks. I'm quite excited about it. I mean, I think what's different this time, although Windows 11 is going to be offered as a free upgrade, your PC will have to meet a minimum set of hardware requirements, and they're a lot more stringent this time. Your PC will have to have UEFI firmware, secure boot enabled, and some form of TPM 2.0, either a hardware one or a firmware one. So that's Intel Platform Trust Technology, or I think AMD call theirs FTPM. If you don't have those, you won't be able to upgrade to Windows 11. There is actually a tool Microsoft have to download at windows.com on the announcement blog, and it will check your PC to see if it's compatible based on the age and whether it's got those features. But you're not going to find now Windows 7 era machines, Windows Vista era machines. It ain't going to run on those. So we're going to have 5 more years of support of Windows 10. It's easy to forget it's actually 5 years old next month. Windows 10's been out that long. So now it's entering its 5 years of extended support. So it will still receive security updates, and I feel there'll be many machines still running that for the next 5 years. People won't want to upgrade their hardware, but there will be people that want to upgrade to Windows 11, and that is going to trigger a hardware upgrade boom. So we look forward to getting on that bandwagon, getting some new computers out there.
Yeah, that's some pretty good advice there, definitely. What about you, Ben? What's your opinions of it? I know you like Amigas and stuff, but I don't think you're going to be able to put Windows 11 on those. So what's your opinion?
Well, you might be able to get Windows 10 on an Amiga if you try hard enough.
Yeah, very hard.
Yeah, I have surfed the internet a few times on them. But yes, anyway, moving on to the topic. Always a mention of them, Phil. I quite like Windows 10 as it is, to be honest with you. I think Microsoft have been a little bit naughty because they said this would be the final version of Windows, and very clearly it's not. And you can see in a way they're trying to sort of follow Apple's lead on antiquating the old machines and forcing you up onto the newer operating system, that sort of thing. It's I do wonder as well, some of the older machines that will accept the upgrade to Windows 11, how well they'll run it with the minimum specs. Because I mean, you get machines like, God forbid, old Pentium 4 machines that should never have Windows 10 installed in the month of Sundays. But yeah, there's still some sadists out there who still install it and think it's a good enough machine to run it on. So yeah, I'm kind of in a mixed camp. I'm sure it would be great, but I think, like Peter said, there's a lot of folk won't be rushing to upgrade to it because we've got the older hardware. I think it's probably a good time to take stock and start looking at getting rid of your older machines, the ones that don't have the UEFI, secure boot and TPM2, that sort of thing, maybe your second and third generation machines. So yeah.
Okay, some definitely good advice there as well. And let's move on to Tim then. What's your views, Tim?
I think overall it looks like it's they've definitely borrowed. I would say I've seen similarities between Apple, iOS, and that kind of a lot of similarities in where they put that like the favourites bit in the middle that goes to what you use quite often, which matches iPad already. But I think the biggest thing with it's going to be people for businesses want to go with it is a lot of businesses still use old DMS systems and that kind of thing that still don't like the new web browsers or still need Java. So, i.e. Internet Explorer. Now, Windows 11 doesn't even support it. So, I can see that being a big issue for businesses with upgrading. So, any business side of it, I can see that bit booming where people are just trying to get them all their systems updated just to support it. Or we're going to end up with a situation where all the businesses are just going to go, well, below that, and where some places still have XP, dare I say it, in place just because they just don't want to spend on upgrading what they've been using for the last decade plus. So.
Yeah, there's some good points there, especially about the Cormie saying about refurb ones as well. So that could cause quite a few issues with second-hand machines, which is probably bad for the environment in a way as well. If you can't refurbish old machines and put newer versions of OSs on it, but then again, how far back do you really want to go? It's a good question, and I think Alex has said a similar thing, but we'll come back to in a few minutes. Right, Jen, let's go on to you. What's your views on it?
Well, from what I saw of it today, it almost looked like an advert for it. So there wasn't a lot of any grandiose thing that stood out about it. It was just several different people giving a sort of a sales pitch on why I needed to have it. They said, "You've got this search feature," and I thought that's been there since like the world was turning. Next. You got this start button. I thought, well, yeah, it's moved. So next, a lot of things that they were sales pitching, people don't know it, but they are in Windows 10 already. The ability to tell the weather and things like that. It's in there. So a lot of it is, I think it's going to be a polished up version of Windows 10. Rearranging things around as well. There were a few features that would be appealing to someone working in an office. The ability to pin maybe 3 different tasks on the screen together and work with it side by side without having to go in between maybe a spreadsheet to the Word document, spreadsheet to Word document. If they didn't have two screens, I can see where that would be a plus. In the gaming side, though, I didn't really see anything about it that was going to be anything that I just really had to have. They hyped it up, but that's all it was to me was hype. I just didn't get it. I was like, next.
Okay, that's very good. So some of the gaming things, what I saw was the auto HDR. Nice to show them showing off a game what's 10 years old on there. I thought they could have gone a little bit more modern, but Skyrim's not really state of the art. But HDR, bear in mind, a lot of people are going, oh, cool, I'm going to get HDR on things, but how many people have got HDR monitors in all reality?
Exactly.
There's very, very few. The direct storage, as Alex says, I think that's probably going to be the biggest thing on there, to be honest, for loading. I think that can be possibly used not just for gaming, but creative projects as well. People using probably Photoshop, Premiere Pro, stuff like that, if they take advantage of it. I think that could be the biggest thing. But the biggest thing I got out of the show was it's going to be bigger and better than Windows 10 in every way. It's going to have better security, better speed, better gaming. Exactly the same things I said about Windows 10 and Windows 8 and Windows 7 and Windows XP, basically. And, well, in all honesty, yeah, you should be getting better because it's newer. So
I am with Alex, though. I'm with Alex, though. The direct storage is probably the better thing that I heard in their sales pitch tonight. Of course, this is the first time that we've heard anything from it. So give them the benefit of the doubt. This is the first time that they have pitched it to the public. There may be things in there that they just haven't released and that we'll just only get in time. So I'm going to give them, a hard benefit of the doubt and press forward.
Yeah, I'm going to say there are a few other things in there, like the Game Pass and so forth, which may be advantageous to some, maybe not others. Also, the Windows Store for like movies, where it looks like they're going to be. They didn't say which streaming services you'd be able to use with it for like movies and stuff, but I'm guessing it would be like Netflix, Amazon, Disney, and stuff like that, where everything will be in one place. But I think the minimum specifications are going to be the question, especially on refurbs. So from what I can see, let's have a look. And again, this is from the Verge, sorry, which bear in mind they are not very good at building computers if you ever watched one of their videos in the past. So take this with a pinch of salt. So you need a 1 gigahertz or faster CPU with at least 2 cores, which is 64-bit compatible. That I think is going to be not a problem for most cases, unless you've got a really low-end thing, a bit like Peter's little laptop he's got on his knee next to him, or whatever it is.
Core M.
Yeah, so things like that are going to struggle. But something like probably some of the tablets out there, what have got Windows on and stuff, may struggle the low-end stuff. But 4 gigs of RAM, well, if anything's running less than that these days, well, it needs to be blown up anyway. 64 gig or larger storage, I'd stretch that to 128 gig, because by the time you stick Windows on it, you stick Office on there, you ain't got any storage left, and then you try and update it, and it'll say you ain't got enough room to update, or something daft like that, like Windows 10. So that's UEFI. I don't think that's an issue. Secure boot compatible. That's been around for a good while. It must be 6 years or so, isn't it? It's been around for a good while now. I think the biggest issue is going to be the TPM, if I'm right, 2.0. That's not on a lot of machines. I think Alex says OEMs have required to do it, but I'm guessing a lot of custom builders, and I've seen a lot of custom machines which do not have them installed. So don't get me wrong, they're not usually too expensive to add them. If I'm right, probably 20, 30 quid or something. Are they, Peter? Is
about
that right?
About a tenner tray. You've got to get them, and they all use different headers depending on whether it's NAS or a gigabyte. There are firmware TPMs, though, which you can enable in the BIOS. I noticed quite a few people saying their systems aren't compatible. But if you look for Intel PTT in your BIOS, and I think AMD have, I think it's FTPM. If you enable those, you'll see a TPM 2.0 in your device manager. And that's a firmware alternative. But Alex is speaking a lot of sense in the chat. To get a PC Windows Hardware Quality Lab certified, you have required a TPM since 2016. Yeah.
I was just
so it's quite a
reading
while ago.
the Windows 11 requirements, and it's saying that S mode is not supported. If you have Windows S, that's not supported.
Mhm.
Good.
I just think it's great that you mentioned there, Phil, about Windows 11 needs 64 gig of space to install. I think it's probably the best news I've probably heard all day, because it means that all HP streams are doomed.
Yeah. I was thinking that. I didn't say it.
Yeah, HP streams are going to the graveyard. Another thing what I thought was interesting was a graphics card which was DirectX 12 compatible. So that puts off a lot of older cards. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of them probably are DirectX 12. There's a lot of people knocking old ones around or built-in ones to the motherboard CPU, which may not be DirectX 12, especially low-end things. And I don't think the next one's going to be an issue either, which needs at least a 720p resolution monitor or screen. So unless you've got something really old, it should be able to handle that, I would have thought. So, but otherwise, yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. The screen has to have at least 8-bit per channel as well. Bear that in mind. Yeah, so I'm going to say that brings you back to near enough Amiga days, doesn't it, Ben?
I think even Amigas can run 8-bit as well,
Oh
Phil.
God, don't go there again, please.
So yeah, Neo Computers is saying GT710. I'm not sure if that is DirectX 12 or not. Probably is. Probably won't do much with it though, but it might be compatible. I'll have to have a look, see what's on there. No doubt Alex in chat, who's from Malware Bytes. Again, guys, if you don't use Malware Bytes, their Tech Station or Tech Tool program, what they use, that is pretty good program, so I do advise you guys to take a look at it. So it's definitely a good thing. And Alex, you need to come on the show one of the days, otherwise I'm going to chase you down again. Okay, so
yeah, Alex, you can talk about how great the Tech Tool Bench is that Malware Bytes has. That's some good stuff.
Yeah, that's true. And Richard says, yeah, so most boards have the TPM socket, but they're not populated. That's true. And as I think Peter says, they're about 10 quid or something like that trade. Obviously, retail, they're probably closer to 20 or something like that, but or 30. But yeah, so that's some pretty good information. So no promises yet from Alex. Well, just come on the show anyway, Alex. We won't mind. You seem to know more than what everyone else is. You don't have to come on as Malware Bytes. You can come on as yourself. But there you go. So, right. So let's have a quick check through the chat. Have we got any other comments on there? There we go. Do you think anyone's going to actually, consumer-wise, be that bothered about it unless they're a gamer? So non-gamers, do you think anyone is going to be bothered about Windows 11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people want the latest tech. We got loads of customers that are tech heads. They will want the latest tech, and if you tell them they need a new computer for it, no problem, they'll have it. You know, and I think it's important to mention that all these PCs that can't run it, they don't become paperweights when Windows 11 comes out. They've still got 5 years of Windows 10 security updates. They'll still run. They can run those into the ground, and then by that time they'll be very, very old computers, and they'll probably be on Windows 12. They can buy a new PC, but they'll still be serviced and supported for a few years yet.
Yeah, so that's
even
a good
if they are
point,
HP streams.
Yeah,
and that's one thing.
Yeah, I think someone from the business side, having supported DMS systems and that for a long time, I'd say I think a lot of big companies, they might start looking into it now. But with them jumping into it might take, would say, about 2 or 3 years, because they're going to be having to change all their systems to make it all compatible with. I think that's going to be the biggest issue.
Okay.
I see the younger generation probably will be more fussed about it than the older generation. And when I say that, it's because my younger generation through the door is I want a custom gaming machine. Have you got the graphics cards now? You know, like Peter said, the latest in techware. And whereas their grandmothers and all, they're just wanting to order their shops from Tesco. They really can't be bothered to learn a new OS so soon. They've just now gotten Windows 10 learned down pat, you know. So the last thing they'll be wanting to do is change yet again, and so I think you'll have a mix of people that do want it, those that don't want it for a little while. But one thing is for sure, it's going to bring money through the store for the ones that do. And those that do want it and they don't have the hardware, that's another sale right there on new computers. But you can also make money off of the install itself if it does support it. So win-win.
Yeah, that's true. I think we're going to get quite a few customers, and we get this every time an operating system comes out. I don't like Windows 11. I prefer Windows 10. It's a lot better. And it was actually the same customer who says, I don't like Windows 10. I preferred Windows 8. Well, probably not 8, 7. And then when they got Windows 7, they didn't like Windows 7. I prefer Windows XP. And every time a new operating system comes out, it's always, I prefer the last one. I don't like the new one. And
that
then
would be
by
me.
the time the next one comes out, they love it. It happens every time. Probably some of the new tech traders who are in the group or watching now probably won't have come across a new version of Windows as in the retail side of things and so forth. But as Jen said, it's a good money-making opportunity for you. And Peter said as well, because you've got upgrades. So a lot of customers, even though it's probably going to be a simple upgrade through the Microsoft Store or for Windows Update or whatever, it's going to cause a lot of issues for people. There's going to be times where people can't do the updates. They don't realize they need the TMP chip or something along that lines. So you've got a good upsell opportunity. Obviously, you can't charge for the free upgrade, but you can charge for the service to upgrade it. So charge 75 quid or whatever it is to upgrade someone's system, and you can give them a service and clean up in the same time. You can advertise and say, hey, we'll do the update for you and make sure all your drivers are up to date, everything's compatible, blah, 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 make sure it goes through properly. Obviously, if you are doing this, always back everyone's stuff up first. Use something like Fab's Auto Backup or whatever first. Just back everything up before you do anything, just in case. But it's going to cause, obviously, you're going to have those things where you've got opportunities to upsell, but you're going to have other issues where people have tried to upgrade themselves and it didn't work. Usually because they've got a black screen and they thought it wasn't working and they're going to turn the computer off halfway through the update or something along that lines. So you're going to have people who are going to need repairs.
They deleted their pictures in the process of upgrading. And that's when you can direct them to someone like our friends at East Anglian Data Recovery, where Miss Allison Cook works. Big shout out to you there, Allison.
Other data recovery companies are available, just to let you know. But yeah, you've got opportunities there for the repair side of things. So there's lots of people going to need repairs, upgrades. And obviously, if the machine can't do it, you are going to get people, especially gamers and so forth, who'll want the latest and they'll want to pay. And if anything has gone to show in the last year with graphics card prices, people will pay if they want it. If they're paying, what, £1,500 for a £400 graphics card, they are willing to pay, and they can pay most of the time. Obviously, not everyone can, but there are people out there who can pay for these services, and if they want it, they will. And obviously, you can carry on supporting Windows 10 for the next 5 years. Is it 2025, was it? So next 4 years. So yeah, you've got a few years to go yet. So someone's messaging me somewhere. So no, don't know where that is.
I think I hate Windows 11 already. I just ran the tool in the background whilst we were chatting, and my computer and Asus ROG gaming laptop's not compatible apparently.
There you go. So is it the TMP by any chance or anything like that?
It's not said actually, but it's a 4th Gen i7, so it's a bit old.
So it's on the edge, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's on the crossover legacy UEFI BIOS. So
how many years old does it say it is in that tool?
What the Asus?
Yeah, it should say under the RAM and SSD how many years old it thinks your PC
Oh,
is.
I've just shut it down because I didn't like it. Sorry.
I think that's actually quite good because a lot of people think their PC is only 2 or 3 years old and really it's 8 or 9 years old. You
Yeah.
know.
Oh, this is
So-
about 7 now. Yeah.
and when you tell them, think, oh, is it? Time flies, doesn't it? And maybe time for a new one. You know, there's an opportunity there, and if you don't grab it, someone else will.
Yeah, but I think the other thing it's going to make people realise is all those people that build PCs and they use old 4 Series Plus Pro i7s and i5s and sell them on Facebook and Amazon and anywhere else. And then they tell the customer, oh, it's brand spanking new. And then, well, people like us have to give them the bad news. No, it's actually about 10 years old. And if the board goes, for example, I think it's going to highlight that. It's going to give them a bit of a shock as well because they're not going to be able to exploit. I think that exploit's going to disappear, to be honest.
You know, I see that all the time, Tim. People, it's just had a fresh reinstall, and most people don't know reinstall from Adam's House Cat. Just had a fresh reinstall of Windows 7 Pro. Pick it up for 50 quid. And you're thinking, oh, wow, that's an awesome price for a computer, 50 quid. Well, what they don't tell you is it's a cracked version of Windows 7 Pro, and 7 Pro is no longer supported, this, that, and the other. And by the time you get finished trying to fix it up where it's usable, you should have gone out and bought a new computer.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Another thing as well, we got a lot of sales for, and going from what Alex says a few minutes ago, like only 3 people enjoyed Windows 8, and he was one of them. Well, with 8.1. We actually did a load of advertising on the front of our store and social media at the time. Hate 8. So you put the number 8 in the hate and so forth. So hate Windows 8, get a downgrade to Windows 7 or whatever. Obviously, you'd give people the opportunity of gone out, bought Windows 11 now, if they get a new PC, and downgrade them to Windows 10. Obviously, make them aware, though, it will expire in, 4 years or whatever, if that is what they're wanting to do. But again, that's another money-making opportunity for you as well. So there are going to be people out there who hate the latest and newest operating system because, well, it might be buggy, they might not be able to play the version of Solitaire they like or whatever it may be, and they're going to hate it, and that's always the case. And talking about Solitaire, I still carry around the old Windows 7 Solitaire on a program to install on people's machines because that's the only thing they want the machine for. Old Solitaire. It's amazing what people will do. Even though you got the new Solitaire suite or whatever it's called on there on Windows 10, no, they don't want that. They want the old one from Windows 7.
I told one little old lady she'd fare better going to the store and getting a deck of cards. I mean,
and several £100 just to play cards.
You do make a good point about Windows 8. Everybody hated it, including yours truly. They were coming in, can you make it at least look like Windows 7? We got business from people who wanted us to help them with transition over better.
Yeah, so that's another option. Obviously, you've got upgrade opportunities. So obviously transferring data or even making the machine look like Windows 7 or 10 or whatever they want it to look like. I don't think Classic Shell's still around, or it might be, but unsupported. But no doubt a new version will pop up to make everything look like Windows 10, possibly. But you can already, the central Windows button, you can move it up to the left anyway in the settings anyway to put it in the traditional place anyway. So you probably go through the settings, and if by the time we actually get it in the full version, you'll probably be able to set a lot of it up like it looks like pretty much Windows 10 anyway, I would have thought. But again, who knows? Someone's going to complain one way or another, that's for sure. So, right, let's have a look at chat. So, let's have a look. Neo Computer says Microsoft account and internet connectivity required for setup. I've not read that, but I'll take your word for it. Has anyone else heard that?
Yeah, it does say that.
Yeah, it was on the. I went on the home edition place. Yeah.
For the home edition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to cause issues then, because that means they're going to require a password every time you switch your computer on, and you just know your older customers are going to forget what the password is every week.
Yep.
So
small labor.
Yeah, that's another job for you and more money coming in. So up to now, it's all benefits to us, to be honest, whether if you like it or not, one way or another, if you own a computer store or you're going to repair stuff and so forth, and you charge for the service, well, money-making opportunities are definitely there. Cormac says he managed to set it up without the internet. I've only set it up in virtual machine, and obviously that wasn't on the internet. So I can't comment on the version when it comes out. Yeah, you've got the hello pin as well, Alex, but unfortunately a lot of customers, especially the ones in our area anyway, when they get to a certain age, getting them to remember the house number, let alone the PIN number for the computer, is difficult. So we do get quite a few issues with passwords.
They don't even know their postcodes.
Yeah, we'd like setting things up with like a standard user account, because all they want to do on there is go shopping at Tesco or Sainsbury's, which is our version of Walmart.
Yeah. So, I think what you said about the Microsoft account, I agree. I mean, a lot of customers I have, if I set up a machine for them, they like me to just set it up as no password, no Microsoft account, for example, like user, blank password, so it just keeps it simple for them.
Yeah.
And I'm talking, we're say the 60s older kind of bracket, or 50s, you call it retired kind of bracket, because they just, like you said, they don't remember their password. And if you try explaining what goes on, how to reset your password, it can be blood out of a stone sometimes. They don't understand what you're talking about. So
yeah, it can be quite confusing. The amount of times we get customers mixing up their PIN number with the passwords as well. So you set them up a password and then you set them up a PIN, but because the PIN's easy for them to use, they remember that. But then when they do need the password for whatever reason, they don't know what the password is. And you just know they haven't updated the security questions with the new phone numbers and everything like that. So you have to set them up a new account. But they don't want that because the email address is tied into that and everything, which then obviously causes lots of issues. So
I keep a stress ball on my desk for those occasions right there. That's squeeze.
And don't forget, you've always got that customer as well, which will turn around and say, I don't have a password. I never had a password. Or you set it up for me. You set it up for me 10 years ago. You should know what the password is. You always get those.
Yeah, I don't know how GDPR safe it is, but yeah, I do have a few customers that actually do say, do you mind if I write this down? Because I know they're going to forget the password. In fact, some of them don't mind me knowing it. So if they do have a problem, I can actually fix it by remote or something like that. So, I help them out with that. But yeah, it's the only workaround I've found for that.
Yeah, Kieran's basically saying a way around it, where obviously I'm presuming he's on about Windows 10 and so forth, was F10 and going into CMD and basically going through command prompts and so forth. There may be options for that for Windows 11 when it's out. We just don't know yet, because obviously we've got to set it up as an OEM experience for some people and sell it them, so they'll have to set it up themselves. So there must be ways around it.
But I don't know about the GP. The data protection thing. But I would think if you could get your customer to sign some sort of form that it was okay for you to know the password of their machine, like if they had dementia or something like that, if you get them and their carer to sign a piece of paper, that would be, something that would be binding that you could work around with in that kind of case. Might be worth looking into.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. Do we know if insiders are going to get Windows 11 before general public?
Next week.
We are getting it next week.
Yeah.
Do we have an exact date? Is it next Thursday? Is it by any chance?
They normally do Wednesdays, but don't know. But they've said next week.
So we'll say, you're right. Give us a shout out when that's available, and I'll definitely have a look at that and get it set up on a few things. So that's pretty good. So does anyone see any more benefits or negatives from this?
Sometimes it causes a bit of a lull in PC sales before a new version of Windows is launched. It's not too much of an issue now because they're going to start stamping all your PCs with Windows 11 ready. You'd get that voucher to give you a free upgrade just before Windows 7 launched. Now they just say Windows 11 ready. They did the same thing with Windows 10. The 8.1 machines that were available, we knew Windows 10 was coming, and they had that little sticker on it that said plays well with Windows 10 or Windows 10 ready. So there'll be a similar thing happening. So you need to start telling your customer, or check your hardware builds are going to work with Windows 11. And then, let the customers know they will work with it. Otherwise, they might hold off on buying that new PC.
Yeah, good point there. So it really depends on when it's coming out, doesn't it? Because they haven't really said anything. I think most versions of Windows have always come out, I think with the exception of probably 98. I think that was a June. All of them have been usually August, September, October, November usually time. So hopefully it'll be in the next few months. But again, who knows? Who knows? Right, does anyone in chat have any other questions to ask, non-Windows 11 related, about any business questions, whether it be, I don't know, insurance, to getting more trade, to anything else, even if it's, well, you can't really ask Cormac because he's not in the show tonight, but he's in chat, so he'll probably answer you anyway. You can ask him about his chickens if you want. It's really up to you. So if you've got any questions, feel free to send them in. Alex is saying Windows 11 holiday 2021. So depends on what you class as holiday. Holidays over here are different times, Alex. You get all this Thanksgiving and everything. We don't get that. Holiday for us is Christmas Day. Right. So Kieran saying spamming. He says if anyone else is really quiet at the moment. Oh, work-wise, trade-wise, are you guys, Peter, Ben, Tim, finding it quiet?
No. Probably slightly busier than normal at the moment.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think likewise. I'm getting this. Say I'm busier. I'm getting a lot of restaurants, pubs. I'm doing a lot of Wi-Fi. Upgrading the Wi-Fi. With all the reopening. With Christmas approach, well, will be a few months' time. I've already got parents asking about builds now, that kind of thing. So I've kind of tried to get the early requests in now, so I don't get let down customers, we'll say.
Okay,
So,
that's pretty good. What about yourself, Peter? How are you finding it?
Yeah, we're busy as well. We've got a lot of companies that are getting back to work after lockdown, similar to Tim, pubs, restaurants needing networks upgrading, ready for reopening. So yeah, we've been busy. Normally there's a lull around July, August, but it's a strange year. We'll see what it's like this year,
Yeah, strange is one word for it. So I think for ourselves, call outs have been pretty busy. There's no question about that. Repairs in the store have not been too bad, but I think sales in general are down, especially the gaming side of things, because people haven't been able to get the gaming machines.
yeah.
Which has had a
No fault of our own,
Yeah, knock-on effect with all the peripherals and stuff like that, and new stuff. I think hopefully with the graphics cards seeming to come down in price a little bit, but to be honest, I have a feeling they're going to go back up again. To be honest with you, especially.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a few. You say about sales, for example, about the computer, the gaming requests, that kind of thing. Yeah, I've had a few. We'll say silly ones. Oh, here's a nice budget for a computer for their kids. Yeah, I've told them how much it's realistically going to be at this point, but yeah, so I've got.
Yeah, not good. I think on our gaming machines, when normally pre-pandemic, I think if anyone sent us asking for a quote, we'd give them a quote, and I'd say roughly 85% of the time they'd go ahead. I think at the moment it's closer to about 5% of the time, to be honest, because they just suddenly see the price and they're thinking, hey, one a few years ago was 800 quid, and now it's just that for a bottom-end graphics card, pretty much. So they sort of have a mini heart attack when they see the prices. But what were you going to say, Jen?
Neo Computers has just asked a question, and I thought you might want to address that.
Yeah, and which question is that one?
It says, I was approached by a computer business from another part of the country that has a reasonable online presence. They want to, quote unquote, collaborate. What advice would you give towards this?
Depends on what way they want to collaborate, really. Is it for reselling? Are you going to be sort of like a sub-distributor or reseller? Or is it going to be, you're going to be sharing stuff more like a franchise? It depends on which sort of way you're looking at, to be honest with you.
You
But
can
I would
collaborate
definitely,
in many ways.
yeah, it depends on how they want to collaborate. I'm going to say we collaborate in different ways with other local businesses, but for someone on the other side of the country, sounds maybe a little strange, but again, can't say without knowing a little bit more, unfortunately.
I would say get it in black. I would say get it in black and white, as in get something written down and agreed between. So between everyone involved, then at least you know what's going on with it. Get it in email form, and it keeps it simple.
He's saying they have said they want to feature some systems on their storefront with his name on.
So this other company wants to buy computers from you and sell them?
I would be a little bit dubious. My question will be
why. Yeah. To be honest, I'll be asking why they want to do that, first of all. If they are a computer company, why can't they make their own? Because no offense, as most computer technicians should be able to make computers some form or another, or at least in the trade should be able to know what the parts are, or get someone to do it on site rather than collaborating with someone on the other side of the country. But again,
I mean, think about this: if they're so crap at the computers that they make that they're having to hire someone to make computers and put branding on them saying we didn't make this, do you really want to be associated with them?
Yeah. Well, it's hard to give business advice. I'd be wary if they're wanting to buy machines from you and sell them. I'd be, if they're saying, oh, yeah, when we sold it, we'll give you money and stuff like that. It just sounds a little bit dubious, to be honest with you. Without knowing more, I'd hate to say otherwise. He says, it's very strange. Pricing online system, very, very cheap, the system they are offering.
My father always told me if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah, I'd be very cautious, to be honest with you. If you want to send me a message after the show and let me know who it is, and I'll let you know if I've heard of the company before and then go from there. But sometimes it's always good checking with your suppliers, like your distributors you're buying stock from. So if you're buying from CMS, Target, Spire, VIP, speak to them, ask them if they know of this company. Because a lot of times, obviously, they have to buy stock from them and they'll have some sort of reputation with them, whether it's good or bad. I found that distributors can help out sometimes in certain ways you wouldn't really expect. So, but yeah, it does sound a little bit dubious. Let's put it that way. Well, I can't say 100%, but it does sound a bit strange.
I would just say beware.
Yeah, that's it. Does anyone else have anything else they want to ask? Have I missed any questions flying past while we've been at it?
Cormy asked a question about people selling through the websites. If people get more sales through the websites.
We used ours more as an online catalogue, really, to be honest with you. It's mainly for the locals. Sold quite a few graphics cards when we've had them, but that's purely because we've had the stock. Not in normal times, it's a price game selling online. You're going to really struggle to beat the established retailers and Amazon. So we just use it as a sort of local catalogue. We have customers that buy and click and collect in store, lets them see what we've got in stock, but it's not really we don't really sell nationally on there unless it's an item that's in demand that you can't get anywhere else.
Like with myself, I'm talking like consumables, like all the cables, the modem, the microfilters, mainly that. Whereas I've got the computer stuff on, as in the computers on there, or the pre-builds that I can do, but yeah, mainly it's the cables that people are getting from me. So, as was said, it's like locals going for it because there's nowhere without someone jumping in the car to get them, for example. And I'm 5 minutes down the road from them, so.
Yeah, we've done that in the past. We've tried stores different ways. We've tried one where it's another company who buys the stuff and you get a commission out of it, to our own web stores, to I think Target did their own custom web store at one point and so forth, which it was only the only people who would tend to use it were local people, who were generally people who would come in the store and buy the stuff anyway, to be honest. And because they got it on the website, it was probably cheaper on the website than you had it in your store. So it might work for some people, but in most cases, I think, unless it's something unique like graphics cards at the moment, most people are buying stuff directly from Amazon and the big boys, to be honest with you. Because let's put it this way, if they can find the product on your website, unless it's something unique and different, maybe a custom computer or refurbished, you might get away with that. But if it's a certain product, let's just say a certain HDMI cable, they're going to see it on your website for a tenner, and they're going to do a search on Amazon or eBay and go, I can get the same thing for £3 on there or something like that. So that's the issue we always had. So we've always used our website since as more of a way to advertise who we are, to attract people into the store. And we find we make more from getting the people in the store and speaking to us, because you've got upsell and everything, opportunities there. Obviously, if you're good at selling stuff, then you can make a lot more. It's very rare anyone comes in our store, even if they're coming to deliver the post, that actually get away without buying something.
You you really don't have to be good at selling when you're in our game. You have to be good with people. If you can form a conversation with someone and just speak on their level and not out-tech them and say, look, if it was me giving advice to my mother, here's where I would tell her. And you get down on their level and say whatever it is that you have to say, chances are you can sell a computer to them if it is needed.
Yeah.
It's very easy. You just get out there and talk. It's not like you've got to do the used car salesman, low mileage, blah blah blah. Just had MOT, none of that. Just converse with them. A lot of times we're the only ones that these people see for a long time, especially Phil that does call outs. He is probably the most communicated with person a lot of our customers see, including their family. And he's always, before the COVID thing, welcomed, can I get you a cup of tea and everything? And he's like, oh, Jen's waiting for me in the car. Oh, come on in, you can have a cup of tea and a biscuit. And I'll have to sit through his cup of tea and biscuit because they'll get offended if he doesn't finish it. But yeah, you just got to be a people person and you can pretty much sell.
Yeah, unfortunately, I get offered too many biscuits, as you can probably see. I go around old people's houses and it's like, I bought these biscuits in just for you. And you're thinking, I don't want any biscuits, but you have to have some biscuits, otherwise they get offended.
Yep.
And especially if you don't drink all your cup of tea, you're in trouble. The amount of times I forget to drink my tea or let it go cold and have to drink it while it's cold and say, it's nice while it's cold. I like it like that, because they get offended otherwise. But anyway, let's go on to what Alex is saying. Yeah, here we go. Alex is saying, what's your thoughts about the announcement of Android apps on Windows 11? So that's a good one, actually. We haven't mentioned. I think it's pretty good, actually. To be honest, I use an Apple phone, but I can see where it could be handy, and I know a lot of apps are on Apple or on Android as well. So if I read that right, is it going through the Amazon Apps Center sort of thing, a bit like it does on your TV, like the App Store and the Fire Sticks and stuff like that? So I think that's pretty good, to be honest. It's there's a lot of tools out there which you can't get on the PC, or you have to download special things so you can open them because they won't open in a web browser and stuff. So I think that's an advantage, to be honest. Anything what brings people away from the phones onto the PC is an advantage to us, rather than it being the other way around.
Now, would it be any Android-based app, do you think, or just certain ones?
All the ones published to Amazon, so all the Kindle available Amazon Android apps, I believe.
Right.
I think if it works well, it's great. What I worry about is if there are certain functions in the apps that don't work, and it's got the usual sort of Microsoft rough edges in there. If it works as advertised, I think it can only be a good thing. But I don't want to see it be half baked and things not working, because it would just create more problems.
I think I agree there, because the only way I've found when I get requests how to test Android stuff is I've actually got an Android emulator on my computer. So that's how if people how getting something to work for them, that's how I've been doing it. Whereas if it's going to be built in, I won't need the emulator anymore for it, which, it would be a perk for me to put it on, dare say, my work machine. I'm not saying I'll jump onto Windows 11 for gaming immediately, but it would certainly, I can see it from that benefit.
Yeah, definitely. If you've got an Android-based phone or something, and you can obviously use those apps on your PC, and then you've got like an Amazon Fire Stick or whatever on your TV or whatever, you can use it across the whole ecosystem of products and so forth. So it could be pretty good in some senses, especially I suppose. I don't know. I can't think of any apps I use a huge amount, to be honest, other than the general messaging and email and stuff. But I suppose it could be handy. Things like, some CCTV systems will only work with apps and not web browsers. That's one thing. So that could potentially work. But again, it's going to be available through the Amazon App Store.
I was just thinking about, we bought this dryer, this magnificent dryer over lockdown. You're supposed to be able to download an app onto your phone, and basically when it turns off, turn it back on through your phone, not even have to get off the sofa, lazy bum. And I thought, oh, this is magnificent. If I'm in here resting up and all, I don't want to go out to the wash area. I can just start it over again. This is great. Got it home, and guess what? There's no support on an iOS. It's Android only. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh.
Yeah, they didn't tend to mention that on any of the paperwork or anything. It wasn't until you bought it and got the manual out the damn dryer that told you on there, we only support Android.
I even went to the App Store, and there was an app there on the iPhone's App Store, and downloaded it, and I contacted the manufacturer. Oh, yeah, that app doesn't work. I was like, no. No kidding. Yeah, only the one on the Android works. I was like, well, that's not good because I have an iPhone. So.
Okay, yeah, it's true. To be honest with you, there's quite a few issues you get with that app. So again, we'll see. Let's have a look. We've got a question coming in from Neo again. Is the way to get prices down per delivery with regards to couriers? Who do you recommend? I'm guessing it's shipping stuff out. Yeah, peripherals and so forth. He's just had to pay £8 per package, including VAT. Does anyone have any other couriers they'd like to chuck out there?
Yeah, I use Parcel Force. I have to say they're very good. They've not lost anything yet. I think I've only had one got damaged, but yeah, generally really good. Quite happy with them. Ends up being about £7.50-ish, including VAT. But it depends how many parcels you're sending per month, what it costs you as well. Not to crap on anyone's cornflakes, but there's one particular courier company I would very highly not recommend, having had a pretty horrific experience, and that was my Hermes. They seem to get a lot of bad press about me. I actually ended up taking into the small claims court over they smashed up a Mac Mini. How they ever managed to smash a solid block of aluminium, I'll never know, but they did.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So, I mean, what I've done is something that I say is worth it is look around locally to where you are and see if there's other courier companies around that as well. Because I mean, I've got a deal with a local-based company, and they charge me something like £5 a parcel, no more, total including that, and I don't have to. I've not had anything go missing. Everything's got to the customer so far. Touch wood so far. And I've got a single point of contact. So if there is any queries, I don't have this central. You ring, dare I say, Hermes, or you try find number for the local office for them, and you end up getting a phone message or something like that. I've got a single point of contact, so if I've got any problems, and the guy knows if he messes up, I don't. Something happens. Well, that's it. And because he's based locally. It's his reputation based at the end of the day. So, and that's worked so far for me.
Neo, I used to work closely with shipping in the States, and some of the same companies are over here. I would suggest looking into maybe the likes of UPS, FedEx, people like that, just to compare the rates. DPD in our area is pretty reliable, though. The drivers are really courteous when they come in the store. They don't have to bring it further than the door, but they always ask, where would you like this and everything. So that side of it is really good. If you didn't know that. So just compare what people say on the receiving end of getting your parcel as well.
What I would do, if you're not shipping a lot, because sometimes you do need the volume to get the pricing down. We don't ship a lot. I would look at some of the aggregators like Interparcel or Parcel Monkey. They've got contracts with most of the big couriers. You can put your parcel weight and dimensions in, and they'll show you all the services available from all the couriers. And you can choose which courier you want to work with and send with. Maybe if it's a more expensive item, you prefer a better courier, or if it's a cheap item, you prefer a cheaper courier. That's quite a good way to send parcels, getting lower pricing but with a low volume.
Yeah, I was going to say basically what Peter said, but also as well, rather than getting them to collect directly from you, you can always drop them off at a collection point or something. That can work out cheaper, because then they don't have to go all around to pick up the items. They can pick everything up at one place. And a lot of co-ops have collection points for different places, and you might have quite a few. They usually have a website which shows you a map with all the collection points on there, so that might be another option as well.
I think check your restrictions as well, because some couriers are different from others. I mean, yeah, across the board, most of them won't cover laptop screens if they're broken in transit. Batteries, again, if they're loose, they won't cover them. But there's other couriers have restrictions on other items as well, to do with computers as well, and that can really screw you over. I think another thing is, we get a good courier company. Like, I mean, let's say I use Parcel Force, I've not had any issues with them. I'm supposed to pay a little bit extra for the driver to collect, but because he drives past my street to go to the post office, he just drops in and picks stuff up from me anyway. So it saves me a lot of sort of running around, going up to the post office, leaving stuff, or paying the extra charge for having it collected. So it's get to know your local courier when you take an account out, and yeah, get chatting and they'll help you out.
There we go.
Lots of good advice there.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've covered most of the questions. I've not seen any I've missed, but if I have, I do apologize. Let's just go through everyone who's on the show, just to see if they've got anything else they want to add about Windows 10, or should I say Windows 11 now, should I say, or any other topics before we call it a night. So let's start with you, Jen. Have you got anything you'd like to add in, or anything like that?
No, I was just reading over here on the Restream that we've received 100 messages tonight on the chat. So
yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah, it's always nice to see that as well. So we do get quite a few people watching. A lot of people ask me how many people are watching, and it's always hard to say while the show's on live, because the numbers we get shown on here, it tells us something stupid like 10 or 11, which it's only on one of the streams. When you add it up to all the different streams together, it's usually a lot more, because we usually then check YouTube. There's usually 60 on there, and then you check on the Tech for Tech group. It's usually 20 or 30, and so forth. If you add it all up, usually a couple of hundred, or sometimes more. I think the highest we've had is just over 400 live views. I think that was on the Spire show we did about a month ago, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it gives you a rough idea. So yeah, so lots of comments, really good. So 75 questions from Neo Computer, says David. You're probably not far off there. But right, let's go on to Peter. Is there anything you would like to add in?
No, I think we should do this again just before Windows 11 launches, though, maybe a week before.
I do.
Go over what we're doing about it, what our strategies are going to be, what we know about it, what we found out, and what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I think that might be worth doing.
Yeah, if you find out a date before I do, obviously let me know, and we'll arrange something. Right, Ben, you're next. Have you got anything you'd like to add?
No, I'm fine, thanks. Just can't wait for the release of Windows 11 and all these new updates to keep releasing, crashing people's systems.
Yeah, well, that's it. All these crashing systems means more work for us. It means more money for you, and you might be able to buy trousers next time instead of shorts.
Always shorts and Amigas, Phil. You know me by now.
Yeah, you'll get that to afford that extra yard or two of material for your pants.
I'm going to bring an Amiga laptop to Tech Max.
Oh, no, you're not. I won't let them in at the door. We have bouncers on the door, you know. And if I let them see a picture of an Amiga, I'll say, now look, you see this guy with the shorts on? He's going to have an Amiga in his hand. If he does, don't let him in the door, okay? I don't want to hear about it.
I don't think he'll have the Amiga in his hands. It'd be more likely in a wheelbarrow because of the size and weight of it, probably. But yeah. Right, Tim, have you got anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would say just everyone just keep your eyes, you're looking out for news and updates on Windows 11 constantly, because everyone knows what happened with Windows 10. There's always what's going to happen, updates. Oh, look, they've broken it, or and likewise, if you've got access to I've got it set up on a virtual machine on one of my other computers, and my plan is to have a play with it now, just so I can try and break it myself.
They broke the stream today.
Fun?
They broke the stream today of the big reveal. They broke the stream today.
I saw it flicker a bit, but yeah.
It was hilarious. It was an epic launch. It's like, I said, is this things to come right here when they broke the stream?
It's the first of many streams to be broken by Windows 11.
I know it.
Did they turn it off and turn it on again? Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. Was there anything else there to add on to that, Tim?
No, just keep an eye for updates and whatever else.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it then. One thing I'd like to add on there is make sure you get your marketing ready for this, guys, because we don't know exactly when it's going to launch. So probably be good if you get some spare time. If you are quiet at the moment, spare time at the weekends, get some marketing ready for when Windows 11 does come out. So stress that you can do the upgrades for people. You sell new computers, you can do whatever, do the repairs, downgrade them to Windows 10, whatever it may be. Get loads of marketing up. Stick it on the front of your store if you've got it, on your website, on Facebook, wherever, or at least when it's launched. At least you've got it ready for when it's launched, because if they suddenly say, oh, yeah, it's coming out tomorrow, you're going to be a bit stuffed if you haven't got all your stuff sorted. And you'll be behind all your...
Don't forget, while you're doing your marketing, put in your diary Tech Max again. 24th of June, 2022. It's going to be on a Friday. Book the whole weekend off. You know you want to. Treat yourself. Treat your wife. Treat your hubby. Whoever it is. Come over to Tech Max and let's have a good time.
Yeah, we'll probably do a meet-up the night before at a local pub or something like that to it, or something like that. So anyone who comes down early or anything like that. And then we'll let Ben buy everyone a drink.
Yeah.
Only kidding, Ben. I'll let you buy two. Right. Right. So I'm going to call it a night then. We don't have a set show for next week because I'm playing a day-to-day with all the football going off and everything else, just in case games get moved around and all this, that, and the other. And the last thing we want to do is have England playing on Thursday night for whatever reason. Shouldn't be, but you never know with everything what's going on around the world at the moment. But no doubt, if nothing's going on like that, we'll definitely have another show next week, and I'll announce later in the week what it'll be. And that is, again, as usual, 8 p.m. But otherwise, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And I'll leave you with the TechMax announcement video as we leave. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Cheers.